UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is en route to the birthplace of Lord Ram. He is heading back to Ayodhya to be at the temple and I believe oversee the security and administrative arrangements given the kind of pilgrim rush Ayodhya is seeing already till about 3 p.m. 300,000, which is 3 lakh people, had visited Ayodhya and did the darshan of Lord Ram Lalla, who was there, who has been there since yesterday at the Ram temple. And I'm told Aishwarya would be joining us over the phone. Okay, Aishwarya is not there, but he got the information. Priyanka still continues to be live with us. Priyanka, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, heading to Ayodhya. It seems this is more like making sure that everything is in control, administration-wise, law and order-wise. There is a pilgrim rush. You have been there since morning, witness to the kind of number of people who are coming into the temple. You think Chief Minister reaching there is going to help make the police be on toes and keep order?
Well, Abhishek, on the ground since morning, since at least 7 a.m., we have been looking at, there was one rush of people, in fact, that had come to the temple. There were at least 10,000 people who had been there. And, from the very beginning, the government machinery here had been aware that after the 22nd of January, they will have to be prepared for any and all circumstances, because there will be a lot of devotees who will want to come for the darshan. And they were projecting that they will, in fact, be ready for over 3 to 4 lakh devotees if they come in to Ayodhya on 23rd of January. They were expecting this, and since morning they had in fact also regulated the darshans as well, Abhishek, if I could point this out for our viewers, because the police and the RAF has been deployed in that 1 kilometer stretch that leads up to the temple, and they had in fact been closing and opening the doors, keeping in mind the kind of rush that was inside the temple. They were making sure that the people who were inside were first able to get out of the temple before the next lot of the devotees were allowed to come in. So there was a 15 to 20 minute break that was being taken by the police officials and the RAF that had been present there. So yes, there was a rush. Yes, there was a lot of chaos, but that was expected. But we did see that the police and the RAF who had been deployed there, they were making sure that there was a periodical time intermission that was being taken for the devotees to be stopped outside the main gate. And even outside the main gate, there was police deployment that had been carried out to make sure that none of the devotees in fact rush in as well. Apart from that, they were made to sit down on the gates of the temple as well. We did not really even see that there was a lot of devotees who were not following the rules and the law and order. They were just happy to be there. They were sitting and chanting bhajans. So yes, there were a lot of people, perhaps a lot more than they were projecting, but there was equally that level of police deployment that was being done. And across the city of Ayodhya, Abhishek, if I could point this out, we have seen security personnel deployment, police from across the state of Uttar Pradesh that has also been deployed in Ayodhya. There is a control room that is being managed. The DGP himself has been involved in overlooking all of the the security measures as well. In fact, there is a lot of restrictions on the vehicular movement as well. The 2 routes that lead to the temple from the highway and internally in the city have also been blocked out. Only e-rickshaws and buses are going inside the temple, or the devotees are going on foot. But of course, the Chief Minister perhaps coming here is also going to lead to a better movement and regulated darshans that will be carried out, and which is expected, Abhishek, since this is the first day after the Pran Pratishtha.
Yeah, but the fact that Chief Minister himself has gone back to Ayodhya, of course, he can visit the temple and do his prayers. But I think him being there seems to be intended at sending across a message to the administration that they have to be on their toes and make sure that there is no untoward incident happens, given the kind of huge number of people coming in, 300,000 by afternoon. It's possible that given the kind of number of people present in Ayodhya as of now, this might cross the 5 lakh mark tonight itself.
It definitely seems like that, Abhishek. As I was pointing out, the local municipality, the local police officials, all of them, in fact, had been sharing that they're prepared, in fact, for the projections of 3 to 4 lakh people who will be present there. But it seems as though since last night, in fact, if I could point this out, because we saw those visuals from early in the morning, that at about 3:30 a.m. itself, there were thousands of devotees who were willing to sleep outside the temple till the time that the temple doors had flung open. And in fact, they were rushing in. There were a lot of people from across the country who were there, who were present there. And perhaps this number had not been expected by the government machinery. But as soon as we did see this level of chaos that was there was an extra deployment of the police officials in that 1 kilometer stretch from the main gate of the temple towards the entrance of the temple as well. In fact, even inside of that, there is a 1 kilometer walk in which there is a deployment of the police, making sure that there is a regulated darshan going on. But inside of the temple, if we could point this out, there is an extra amount of footfall that was projected. There was a lot of chaos. There was a lot of overcrowding, and in that situation as well, there was police that had been deployed to make sure that the people who were inside the temple were first moved out. But of course, this is a huge message, as you pointed out, that the government machinery, the police officials, and the local municipality as well, who are taking charge of the parkings and the vehicular movement as well, they are on their toes, because the Chief Minister himself is overlooking all of the preparations.
Priyanka, also, given the fact that these are devotees and pilgrims, it must be a very disciplined crowd otherwise, not very difficult to manage. You think, because you were mentioning that the police sort of overreacted, did they put too many blockades and it added to the chaos? And now things seem to be normal, given the fact that we have got pictures of the DGP of Uttar Pradesh police and Alok Kumar and the Home Secretary Sanjay Prasad both happened to be at the Ram temple and supervising the situation themselves.
Well, yes, since morning we have been witnessing them, Abhishek, being inside of the temple premises. But yes, there was, a level of chaos that did add to it, perhaps, because we were looking at vehicular movement that had been stopped. There are red, yellow and orange zones that the entire city has been divided into. And in those zones as well, the vehicles were not being allowed. In fact, the entire buses that were full of these devotees had also been stopped, and that had also led to these devotees rushing towards the temple on foot. There was a lot of chaos near the temple as well. In fact, on the entire Ram Janmabhoomi path that leads to the temple had also been blocked, and it was completely chock-a-block with people on foot as well, and they were also rushing. And perhaps in that 1 hour of that rush, there was not enough police officials that had been deployed there to manage this kind of crowd. Also inside the temple premises, as I pointed out, in that 1 kilometer stretch that leads up to the temple. So right, those added measures have been taken by the police since morning. Yeah.
Priyanka, in one half of the screen, we are actually seeing a chopper of Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath landing at the Ayodhya airport. But I think what is important to understand is that even in the best of days, the temple actually is designed for a capacity of 100,000 pilgrims per day. And now we are looking at something like 500,000 visiting Ram temple today by the end of the day. So the chaos that we are talking about, though as of now it seems that it has been partly controlled, if not fully. The chaos essentially happened because of the pilgrims coming in the kind of numbers that they have come in, despite all the requests made by the administration that do not come immediately or do not come on the day of the Pran Pratishtha. People, anxious they are to meet their Lord Ram Lalla. They have trooped down to Ayodhya, and these many numbers, lakhs of them, and that's adding to the infrastructure crush because of which the chaos is happening.
Well, that's definitely what it was, Abhishek. And, we really can't hold them responsible for it because we are looking at since morning and even since yesterday night that all of the devotees had in fact lined up. They were ready to sleep outside the temple. They were ready to just be there from 3:30 a.m. in that chilly night in Ayodhya, and then just to be there at 7 a.m. when the doors of the temple flung open. And since then, we are also looking at the added measures that had also been taken plan of stopping the vehicles outside the city as well, from the entrance of the Dharm Path, where the electric buses as well that had been running had also been stopped, because there was an order that was coming in from the DGP himself in the morning, where their vehicular movement had also been stopped, and they were in fact stating that the entire area of the temple was at capacity, and they were not even allowing vehicles from outside to come in, or any other devotees to also come in. But as you said, of course, this is a point of emotion for the devotees, and this is a matter of faith for the devotees, and even then they were rushing towards the temple, thinking that perhaps the darshan will not happen, because of course this is the first day after the Pran Pratishtha. Not a lot of rules in place per se. They were not really aware of how essentially they will be able to carry out the darshan, and whether the timings of the darshan will be the same or not. That is why we saw a little bit of chaos in the morning, and post that, as I pointed out, and you're right with the numbers when you said that 100,000 people inside of the temple are manageable. That is why the police had to stop the devotees from the main gate. They had to stop them from entering into the entire premises of the temple, and then they were just deploying the police on the exit gates as well to rush the devotees who were inside to get out first. Post that, the new batch of the devotees were being allowed inside. So those were some of the added measures that the police also had to take, because perhaps were not completely prepared for this number of devotees that were rushing in. They were projecting about 2 to 3 lakh people, but it seems as though that number is going to just increase. Abhishek.
Yeah. Obviously, the kind of expectations that are there, the kind of faith, outpouring of faith that's really happening, it's getting reflected in the kind of numbers that Ayodhya is seeing today, and hence administration on its toes. We have seen both the DGP and Home Secretary monitoring the situation from the ground at the Ram Temple, and Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. In the first pictures on your right, you can see Chief Minister having arrived in a chopper and now starting in a carcade. I'm told Rakshita also joins us live, in fact. Rakshita, are you at Hanumangadi? Are you close by? And if you can give us a sense of the kind of pilgrim rush that's really happening in Ayodhya.
Sir, I'm at Abhishek. I'm joining from Ram Janmabhoomi, and I am live from the location. Ever since we've started giving you the live and rolling coverage, and the Yogi Adityanath's chopper just passed by. I've sent you live. Sent you the footage also, and you can see there's heavy, rapid action force also that is deployed there, because there is heavy security. Security has been tightened up, as the Chief Minister is expecting anytime soon. But however, we see that you can see also here more security personnel. More security personnel can be seen, because there has been security being only increased just when we saw that Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's helicopter started hovering above here. And also you can see that there is a lot of control over the crowd. We've been seeing this for some time, and also a while back we saw the officials from the CMO were inside the temple also. The ACS home and DGP were inside the temple, in and also moving around the Garbhagriha that is right behind me, the main complex of the beautiful Ram temple there. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, remember, was very emotional. At the same time, he also took on the likes of Mulayam Singh Yadav and all those who are politicizing the Ram temple, saying that Mandir jahan banna tha wahin bana hai, aur ab dange nahi honge, ab bullets ki jo hai, ab goliyon ki barsat nahi hogi, phoolon ki varsha hogi, which we in fact saw just yesterday, right from the moment of Pran Pratishtha. So Jai Siya Ram chants, of course, continuing unabated, and Republic TV's live and rolling coverage continues from Ayodhya. Stay tuned for more on the other side.